Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is Lynn back with some more Final Fantasy XVI. If you've been enjoying this series so far, I would appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Also, I do have an account now on Blue Sky, so if you're interested in talking, maybe even talking about Final Fantasy XVI or any of my podcast episodes, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, last time when we left off on Final Fantasy XVI, we were doing a side quest for our blacksmith, Blackthorn, because he liked, if I remember correctly, it was a cuirass that he really, really liked, but he didn't buy it, and now the cuirass is gone. So we're looking for the maker of the cuirass, but he's kind of a free soul, I guess is how you put it, where he doesn't really have roots set down, but he likes to hunt for his own materials. And so we've come to the conclusion that he might be interested in this griffin that we're about to go and kill. So that's why we're here. It's a little bit convoluted. Anyway, let's not tarry. This should be where the griffin is. We spent quite a bit of time last game just trying to find it.
Exactly make for easy prey. Let's hope our craftsman hasn't bitten off more than he can chew.
Okay, officially yes, we are in the area of the griffin then. Valley Matter. Yeah, I knew it. I don't want to kill this thing. It's so cool. Look at that. Dosmer, rank B. Ooh, this is a lot more challenging than the last couple of marks I've done. So, ooh, let's see.
The work will have to wait. Look sharp.
Whoa. You okay there, Jill? Yeah, I'm actually remembering the dodge button. Ow. Dang it, I dodged. Make my own tornado. This time at least I have Jill with me. Oh, I was dodging. Wow, even less damage. Aha! That wasn't too bad. Aw, poor Griffin. I like griffins. Scarletite, one of the hardest metals known to man. Scarletite is highly sought after by those with the means to pay its exorbitant asking price. A price determined not by its rarity, but rather due to the fact that a forge must employ no fewer than 5 healthy bearers to produce flames hot enough to melt the ore, at which time it takes upon the deep scarlet hue from which it takes its name. We still don't quite really know what bearers actually do. They have magical powers. They're often used as slaves for their magical powers. And when they use their magical powers, it takes a toll on them and they eventually turn to stone, from what I understand. But why? How? What sets this magic apart from what Clive's magic is? Is it because Clive is a dominant that he's apparently not affected as a bearer eventually? I don't know. And that's one of the things that I wish the game would clarify. But it doesn't clarify because people born into the world of Althea already know what a bearer is. And so there's really no good opportunity to explain to someone who's playing what a bearer is. And so it's probably a narrative choice to deliberately keep us in the dark on this. But it's kind of annoying given how important it is to the story. Poor bird.
Is something there, boy? Could that be our man?
We haven't talked to Torgal in a while. Hey, boy.
When did you get so big?
Torgal's pretty old. I'm assuming dogs must last a lot longer here. Oh, excuse me. Hounds. He's a fine hound. Oh boy, a potion. I, of course, need more high potions again.
Are you alright?
Dare say I'll survive. That griffin caught me before I could get an arrow off. Must have lost sight of me in the grass, though. I'd be dead if it hadn't.
More likely than not.
The name's Camille. I'm a lowly leather worker, if you couldn't tell by the smell of me.
Not so lowly from what I hear. Do you remember selling to a merchant by the name of Karen?
She's not an easy woman to forget. Bought a cuirass from me after I lost my buyer. Quite taken with my work, as far as I recall. Didn't stop her bartering me down to a pittance, though. She sent you for a refund?
It's not her who sent me.
Well, consider me flattered.
You should be. He's a master of his art, and not an easy man to impress.
Blacksmiths are proud folk. It's a rare thing indeed for one to praise a glorified tanner. And I don't imagine an impressive swordsman like yourself would be getting your steel from any but the best. I'd dearly love to help a fellow craftsman, but... well, actually, I suppose you could give him this.
What is it?
Treated leather. Same stuff I used to make that cuirass. If your man's as skilled as he sounds, he'll know what he's looking at.
You sure?
Well, you did save my life. And thanks to you, I'll be going home with all the griffin hide I can carry. I'd say it's the least I can do. Short of showing him how to make the thing myself, that is. But there are rules against it. Secrets of the trade and whatnot.
In that case, I'll see that he gets it.
I'd be much obliged if you would. Right. I've got some greaves to make. You send your blacksmith my regards.
Will do. And thank you.
And if you ever want a home, you can always come to our hideaway.
Hopefully this will sweeten Blackthorn's mood.
Yes, Blackthorn. I would love to get some more upgrades from you, but I haven't really had anything that's needed to upgrade lately. I think I just bought a piece of armor that isn't upgraded, so that'd be nice. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so there's no need for me to be running around anymore. I can just go to the hideaway. Yeah. I find it kind of strange that there's 2 maps. Okay, let's go ahead and see Blackthorn first.
That monster's taken quite a liking to Lady Karen.
He's not a monster. He's Torgal. And he'd take a liking to you too if you gave him as many nuts as Nan does.
Yeah, of course. Torgal. Whenever we're in the hideaway, Torgal hangs around Karen.
And with a bit of luck, Clive might even find the geezer. How'd it go, Clive? Did you find him, or does the hunt continue?
I found him. And he asked me to give you this, along with his regards.
You're joking.
He said he wouldn't teach you how to work it, but that if you were as skilled as you sounded, you'd have no trouble understanding how it was done.
So that's his secret. Crafty bastard. He's layered and cross-grained it. Good few times, too. No wonder it's tough. And that's no ordinary oil he's used to get that finish. Oh, this is fine work. Even finer than I thought.
Yeah? I'll take your word for it. Just looks like leather to me. Still, I'm glad you're happy. Here, Clive. You didn't happen to catch the fella's name, did you?
Camille, I believe.
I thought as much. There ain't many leather workers in the realm daft enough to do their own hunting, see? And his name kept cropping up when I was asking around. Turns out he's from Tabor. Then again, most leather workers are. But our friend Camille guards a long-held family secret, the which are the subject of some debate in the leather-working community.
Then we better keep this close to our chests.
Listen, sorry for putting the both of you to all that trouble. Should have kept my moaning to myself. Still, I'm glad you found him. This has cheered me right up.
That was the idea. Clive's idea, anyway. He did most of the work.
It's good to have you back, Blackthorn.
Just don't expect me to go turning out work like this. There's a reason he does his own hunting. He knows exactly what hides to look for. And that's how he gets them to layer up so nicely. And don't get me started on how much oiling this leather would need. But I reckon I can make something about as good. Something a Cursebreaker will have no trouble caring for. Anyway, enough nattering. I've got work to be getting on with.
Looks like we won't be needing a new blacksmith.
As if there was a better one out there. Nah, it wouldn't have been the same anyway. No one spins a yarn like old Blackthorn in his cups. Right, now that's sorted, I've got duties to attend to. Thanks, Clive. You've given me my mate back.
Drake Slayer gear design draft. A diagram detailing the steps to craft a belt and van braces fit for a hero. Nice. I like the sound of that. You have obtained the design draft for Drake Slayer gear. Design drafts unlock new crafting options at the Black Hammer. Visit Blackthorn in the Hideaway for details on material requirements. I mean, I've been collecting quite a bit of material so far. Off limits, that means you. I hadn't noticed that before.
Clive. What's that for you, dear?
Drake Slayer's belt. Ooh. Electrum. And with a cry that echoed through the sky, she thrust her sword down into the mighty Drake's nape. Life having escaped the Elder Worm, he went crashing to the sea where his corpse lay, unmoving yet unsinking. Legend of the Drake, translation by Moss the Chronicler. Gelatinous mass. Storm cry.
Anything else?
Oops, I did not mean to back out of that.
So, will it be?
I just recently bought. So I have all this stuff and I haven't sold it?
That it?
Well, I am gonna sell it now. Speak with Vivian. Ooh. I know we only just killed the griffin. And we did kill a harpy. So I'm curious if we have...
Typical nobles.
I think it's... what, notoriety or something?
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Is everything we've received and everything promised?
Oh, we already have 105 renown. I say notoriety, obviously. It was not notoriety, it was renown. Same thing, really. Such is the renown of Sid the Outlaw that much of my clientele would rather spend their time prattling on about your endeavors than making any endeavors of their own. For that, I feel I owe you at least a portion of my earnings. A particularly enamored sort left this on the nightstand. May it serve you better than it did him. I'm not gonna say no to that.
All yours.
Thank you.
All done?
Indeed.
How are you doing? Here you go.
There are no available quests.
Think you can help?
Okay. That's fine. Trying to decide if I should bother with this quest over here or not. Or just speak with Vivian.
Could have sworn we had a few.
Oh yes. Karen. Karen, I have too many things. Can you buy them from me?
What can I do for you? If you're gonna buy something, be quick about it.
Yeah, see, now it doesn't show me all the stuff that I had with Blackthorn. I guess he'll just make it for me again? Alright, fine.
Finished, are you?
Yeah, I'm finished. Okay. I have a new ring. Breath of the Wind. The Favor of Fire increases... I've had that on for a while. The Breath of Fire. Flames of Rebirth. I mean, we can try it. Do I even have Wicked Wheel assigned? I don't think I do. Do I have Flames of Rebirth assigned? No, I don't. I find it interesting that they allow us to have a set number of abilities. Are we only allowed to have 3? But then previously we had 2 and it grew to 3. Hmm. 618. Why is this? Oh, Master. Wicked Wheel. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wicked Wheel for that. Let's go ahead and change that up. And then abilities. Yeah, here's Wicked Wheel. We could go ahead and just... Scarlet Cyclone, we could also just upgrade. And that's one that I have been using basically since the beginning of the game. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Phoenix Shift. Rising Flames. Heat Wave. Flames of Rebirth. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Here we go. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna change that, but I am gonna upgrade this since we've had Scarlet Cyclone forever. You know what? I'm also gonna go ahead and save. I have a nasty habit of not saving. And I really should. Okay, let's at least go over here, hear this guy out.
I didn't take you for a scholarly van.
Oh, this? Well, it's Valisthea, a culinary pilgrimage. I borrowed it from old tomes. Seems there's no creature in the realm so foul it can't be cooked up into something delicious.
Think I'll stick to the unfoul ones, thanks.
Oh, where's your sense of adventure, Sid? Honestly, one glance at these recipes, and even you would trade in your sword for a butcher's cleaver. From spit roasts to sweetmeats, this book has them all. What I wouldn't give to bring these recipes to life.
If it's my blessing you're hoping for, then by all means.
Well, I'm no hunter, Sid. The first tunnel worm I came across would be the death of me. But you're made of sterner stuff. Would you help me resurrect one of these recipes?
Oh dear.
Something tells me you won't be taking no for an answer. Fine, I'll help.
Fantastic! Thank you.
So, dare I ask what's on the menu?
Chance's Stew. It was once a favourite among the gourmands of Oriflamme, if the author is to be believed. Though Molly's never heard of it. The only problem is that while the recipe is extremely detailed in most respects, it's infuriatingly cryptic as to the main ingredient. A beast, no doubt. Most likely something that would make easy work of a simple cook with more broth than brawn, but unwanted violets. I've no idea what they might be.
Does the book say anything else?
Well, only that the sweetest violets sprout atop the bed of roses.
Roses. Rosaria, perhaps? One of the butchers in Martha's Rest might know something. I'll ask next time I'm there.
We need to prioritize this quest.
Maeve over there's the best thing to happen to Hideaway since, well, ever. she's got a smile like sunshine, and she can pull an ale like no other.
I wonder if I should be going around and, like, talking to people more. Mithril, a mineral most mighty. I think I read this already.
Did you come to borrow a book, Sid? Because you can't have this one till we've finished.
Ah, Clive. A moment, if I may. You'll be pleased to hear that I've completed another volume. And while my collection is still far from becoming the 1,000 tomes that young Crow has quaintly dubbed it, I hope the knowledge chronicled within might yet be of some benefit to the Hideaway. Of course, I would not have penned half as many volumes without the tales you and the others bring back from your travels, for which generosity I shall be forever grateful. I don't believe you've read this particular chapter before.
The 1,000 Tomes is a comprehensive compendium of Valisthean lore, covering everything from basic terms to important persons, geography, and history. New information is constantly added as Clive progresses through the story. Past active time lore entries can also be viewed here.
I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them.
Clive tells Harpocrates of his adventures. Harpocrates updates the tomes.
Now this, I believe you will find most interesting.
The founder, Aegis. I was just complaining about how we still don't really know what a bearer is, and now I'm wondering if we'll be able to find out here. Bearer? Oh, please. An international pact made at the dawn of the present era, in which such matters as the treatment of bearers and the establishment of a realm-wide currency were laid out. It formed the basis of much of Valisthian society as it stands today, including the branding of bearers and their status as non-persons. It also put in place a universal calendar marking a symbolic fresh start for mankind, albeit one which put magic users at a crippling disadvantage. It also put in place a universal calendar making a symbolic fresh start for mankind, albeit one which put magic users at a crippling disadvantage. I was just wondering how in the world would a calendar put magic users at a crippling disadvantage, but this seems to be suggesting a new age in which magic users are put at a crippling disadvantage. I guess a bit like, BC and AD, like in our time. I'm gonna hit bearer first. A person with the power to cast magics without a crystal. In Valisthian, men and women who awaken as bearers are enslaved, branded with a mark on their cheek that leads some to call them by the pejorative moniker branded. Though their powers do not begin to approach those of the almighty dominance, they too suffer from the crystal's curse, gradually turning to stone over a lifetime of channeling ether for others. Okay, so the context clues that I've picked up pretty much were right on the mark. And that would suggest that, the story writers did do a good job of relaying the lore of the bears without be overtly expositing about it. But this does sort of bring up more questions. Well, it answers a few, it brings up more. They too suffer from the crystal's curse. What the heck is that? What is the crystal's curse? This is the first we're really hearing about that. Is this the reason why Clive and Jill and everyone is so gung-ho about destroying the Mothercrystals? What curse are we talking about here? I'm pretty sure I've been paying attention. Maybe I haven't. A person with the power to cast... Oh. What? Interesting. So there are two entries about bearers, and they sort of overlap in the information that they tell, but they do say different things. A person with the power to cast magics without a crystal. In Valisthian, men and women who awaken as bearers are enslaved. They are marked with a brand upon their cheek and used as tools, a cheaper alternative to the scarce and precious shards. This system of slavery has persisted for centuries and has become so ingrained in Valisthian life that few take pity upon the bearers' plight, seeing them as less than human. I mean, there are certainly plenty of narratives where magic users are enslaved. The one that I remember most recently is Shadow and Bone, where most of the world hates the Grisha, which are the magic users, and the Grisha were and historically are oppressed, and I think the main reason why they remain oppressed despite their powers is that there are far fewer of them in number than there are of regular people. That said, though, the Grisha are very, very powerful. In particular, of course, the Darkling. And so it is kind of a wonder that any magic user manages to be oppressed. But I'm not going to, suggest some kind of silly, blame the victim mentality. Branded soldier. Bearers forced to fight for the nations that enslaved them. To stymie the urge to flee, the penalty for desertion is death, and soldiers are encouraged to keep a close watch on each other to prevent others from doing so. I mean, that's pretty typical of, medieval armies. You can't just leave. The brand upon a soldier's cheek presenting an additional obstacle, and so most follow their orders, turning steadily to stone with each draw on the ether, to lose one's life to the curse being lauded as a hero's death. I'm not going to read the basic information on branded soldiers. The Bastards, a unit of Imperial Army assassins tasked with taking the head of the Iron Kingdom's dominant, Warden of Ice, and vessel for the icon Shiva, which was Jill. I say is Jill, but Clive disobeyed orders and killed his fellow soldiers. All of its members, including its leader, Tiamat, are bearers, branded men pressed into servitude for their ability to wield magic. So Tiamat was the leader of this particular unit. For a moment, I confused him with Bahamut. Bahamut is the prince of Sambrek. This has a longer entry. The Holy Empire of Sambrek, a nation occupying the northeastern reaches of the continent of Storm. After suffering the ignominy of losing Drake's Head to an audacious assault by the outlaw Cid in 873, which was 5 years ago at this point, the Empire set its sights on the Mothercrystal of its nearest neighbor, the Crystalline Dominion. Sambrek's legions duly stormed the historically neutral territory and installed the imperial capital at Twinside. This brazen act of conquest sent shockwaves across Valisthea. Shoot. It said X to scroll down, but it didn't scroll down. It took me to a new entry. Can I find the culling? Annabella Lesage. That is Clive's mother. Here we go. The Holy Empire. Oh, there we go. That's bad UI. Okay. This brazen act of conquest sent shockwaves across Valisthea and heightened the already considerable tension between the Empire and the Dalmekian Republic. Bahamut, the Warden of Light, whose power dwells within Dion Lesage, Prince of Sambrek. Okay, so I do have that correct at least. In the Holy Empire, the Gregorian faithful hold dragons to be sacred creatures, and Bahamut the most sacred of them all. Because of this, as well as the protection it grants them, the icon is loved and revered by the imperial populace. Dion Lesage is the prince. I guess let's read about him. Firstborn son and loyal subject of Emperor Sylvester, ruler of the Holy Empire of Sambrek, as well as leader of the Empire's most elite fighting force, the Dragoons, Dion is also the dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light, and has oft been called upon to summon his icon in defense of his countrymen. Most recently, in the year of the realm 873, when Odin took to the field against them in the Battle of Belinus Tor. So we saw this particular cutscene, and it was right before we were going to the capital city of Sambrek, Oriflamme, to destroy that Mothercrystal. Sylvester Lesage, Emperor of the Holy Empire of Sambrek, who won his throne at least partly by virtue of his son, Dion, having awakened as the dominant of Bahamut. This actually answers a question that I was thinking about. So, Clive and Joshua were the princes of Rosaria, and Joshua was the dominant. And of course, this was kind of a point of contention with Joshua and Clive's mother, because the mother preferred Joshua because he was dominant. So, I was curious about, I believe in when we heard some history of Clive and Joshua's family, that previous family members were the Phoenix. And so I wondered if being a dominant was a kind of a genetic thing. But this entry here, the Sylvester Lesage entry, he won his throne by virtue of his son Dion having awakened as a dominant of Bahamut. I mean, it says partly, but that suggests to me that that Lesage is not the ruling family of the Holy Empire of Sambrek by virtue of having the throne for generations and generations. It's because his son was the dominant and had the power to take it, probably. Okay. I'm less interested in that part. Let's go back. Let's talk about the Gregorian Church. We've heard a little bit about it, but it's really not been very prominent. So, the Gregorian Church, the state religion of the Holy Empire of Sambrek, whose followers worship the goddess Gregor as the one true deity. At the church's head stands the Holy Emperor, voted into office by his fellow cardinals and supposedly their equal, though this is widely recognized to be a convenient fiction. The followers of Gregor worship dragons as sacred servants of their goddess, and since the founding days of the empire have both doted and depended upon them. So, Sylvester Lesage did not take the throne by force, he was voted into it. That's actually kind of interesting. It sounds a bit like, a president or a prime minister. I suppose prime minister would be a closer equivalent, simply because the people, as in your average citizen, doesn't technically vote for the prime minister, if I'm remembering my government classes correctly. They vote for the ruling party, and the ruling party then picks who the prime minister is. But out of convenience, it's usually the projected prime minister who does some campaigning, even though they're not technically voting for him. I think I've seen that in UK politics. Okay, I want to find the fall of Drake's Head. We caused the fall of Drake's Head, so let's not... What's the crystalline impasse? Oh, this is what's going on right now. A conflict fought between the Holy Empire of Sambrek and the Republic of Dalmekia in the year 878. So we're in the year 878, largely concerning control of the Crystalline Dominion. The Dominion had previously been the subject of a non-aggression pact between the Valisthian nations, but in 873, the Empire claimed Twinside for its new capital, an act which eventually spurred the Dalmecs into military action. Non-aggression treaty. I'm pretty sure it was Sambrek who broke the non-aggression treaty. I don't feel like reading about that. I want to read about Annabelle Lesage. So Phoenix Gate, the Night of Flames. That's what happened in part 2, I think, of this playthrough. Elwyn Rossfield. I'm pretty sure that was Clive and Joshua's father. But let's I want to read Annabelle Lesage. Former Duchess of Rosaria, now Empress of the Holy Empire of Sambrek. It was ever her purpose in life to preserve her phoenix-bearing bloodline, for which reason she betrayed her husband, that she might enter in league with a force she judged the mightier. Now she rules over Rosaria as vicereine of the imperial province, which she rules with a cruelty and contempt for the baseborn that was unknown in Archduke Elwyn's days. It's kind of annoying that I'm reading about this in an entry and not being able to enjoy seeing it on screen in a cutscene. So, that answers some of my questions. She has the phoenix-bearing bloodline. So, was her family the ruling family of Rosaria? But because she's a woman, she had to marry a man who did not have the phoenix-bearing bloodline, and that's why she was kind of cold to them, because she felt herself above them. And no doubt, part of her reason for hating Clive, he wasn't a dominant as far as she knew, but because he looked like his father. And Joshua, of course, was blonde. And that's why she favored Joshua. It's interesting because we learned a long time ago that you cannot predict which person will get the dominant. And it even says that when a dominant dies, the next dominant may not appear for years. So because she thought Joshua died, because when we saw her at Phoenix Gate, and she said, I'm cross with you. Well, I'm paraphrasing. I'm cross with you because I lost Joshua. He was the dominant. And she probably, almost certainly she had to have a son with the Emperor, because what would be the point of marrying her if she didn't produce an heir of some sort? She was probably hoping her son would be the next Phoenix dominant. Again, though, I'm kind of irritated that I'm learning about this through this passage rather than through cutscenes. And I suppose this is as good a time as any to bring up, I suppose, a gripe. It's really hard to say this is a gripe, given that I have no idea how far through Final Fantasy XVI I am. So it certainly has the chance to change my opinion and morph it. But right now, I'm really not that impressed with the story. Like, I am enjoying it, but of course, it's been kind of sold as a Game of Thrones-esque narrative. But it's not. It just isn't. For one, Game of Thrones, like, this, one of the... Actually, I can't say that that's one of the standing traits of Game of Thrones, because it's not the first fantasy to have multiple POVs, but it's probably the fantasy that that was probably most effective at using them. And because I do have... There are things that I don't like about George R.R. Martin's writing, but I can't argue that he does have some damn good characters. I very much enjoy many of the characters in Game of Thrones, some of course more than others. But Final Fantasy XVI pretty much only has Clive's POV. Like, very rarely and occasionally we will get other POVs from some people. But they're so quick, they're almost pointless. And at this point, I've mentioned already, reading through some of these entries, like, oh, we saw that battle where Bahamut showed up and faced against Thor. But what was actually the point of us seeing that battle? We got to see Bahamut in action. We got to see Thor in action. So those are two dominants that we've not really seen before. And clearly, I think the main point of that particular POV was to show them off. But they haven't been a factor at all since we last saw them. So why have the battle, or why show the cutscene there? Why not show the cutscene more effectively as we were getting closer to engaging with Thor or Bahamut? And then the beginning of the game, we had no context for that, and to some extent we still have no context for that. Like, we saw Benedicta. Oh, and by the way, I was mistaken. I think I mentioned in the last one that so far all of the dominants that Clive has stolen powers from have died. And, I mean, that is true. Benedicta is dead, but she didn't die because he stole her powers. She died because she absorbed too much ether and Clive killed her as Ifrit. Anyway, we saw Benedicta and the Titan, and they had a lover's relationship. But was that the only reason for showing us them? Because they were dominants and they therefore had a significant role in the story by virtue of the fact that Clive was eventually going to face them? I don't know. So far, I'm not really impressed by the Final Fantasy XVI narrative because it's basically trying to masquerade as an epic, and it just isn't. Because it keeps us... It's given us blinders. We are focused almost solely on Clive's story. And maybe that's the key with the narrative, is that at some point it's going to take those blinders away and we're going to be, in shock and awe. And maybe that's the true beauty and epicness of this particular narrative. But right now it's just kind of lackluster. And I keep on bringing up, why exactly are we going after these— and of course this entry mentions the curse of the crystals. That's not been mentioned before now. What the hell do we know about this curse of the crystals? And I don't see it listed here either, because I wouldn't mind learning more about that. But I keep saying we don't have a reason for destroying these crystals that I can tell. Like, Sid suggested that they were the cause of the blight. Well, the Drake's Breath crystal is gone. So what has been achieved in the 5 years since Drake's Breath was destroyed? We don't know, because the narrative hasn't told us. Just all we know is that Clive and Jill and the bears in the hideaway are still bent on destroying these mother crystals. But did the destruction of Drake's Breath actually slow the blight? Or do any other producible results? As far as we know, no. And so there, that is my frustration with Final Fantasy XVI right now. It has a chance, of course, to turn this around, because are we even halfway through this game? I don't know. I'm assuming not, because of course I've been told that this is supposed to be about 100 hours long. So it still has plenty that it could pull out and, you know, plenty of tricks up its sleeve, but I'm kind of getting frustrated with how many cards it's holding and refusing to show us. And it's kind of treating us almost like simpletons. And I don't like a narrative that treats me like I don't need to know what's going on. I don't see anything about the crystal's curse. Okay, I think we've spent enough time in these little records. I'm gonna go ahead and back out of them.
If you have a question for me, I should be happy to answer it.
This would have been a lot easier to search. I did mean search by name. Aegis? I think that's the one that I saw. Oh. Dating back to antiquity, the term Egi has historically been used to describe those ethereal entities that can be conjured by dominance. Aegis are capable of casting potent magics corresponding to the elemental alignment of their creators. Though unquestionably formidable, they will fade immediately should the dominant who gave them being happen to be slain. We haven't learned about any of this with the Ifrit, so maybe we'll learn about that later? Drake's spine, Drake's tail, Drake's fang, Drake's head, Drake's spine, Drake's tail, Drake's breath. These are all mother crystals, and of course, we have, for some reason, decided they all need to be destroyed.
You are always welcome, Clive.
We spent longer in there than
Did you come to borrow a book, Sid? Because you can't have this one till we've finished.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm not taking your book. I spent longer there than I really had intended to, so let's go to Vivian. Let's get the story moving a little bit.
Typical nobles.
Back again, Lord Rosfield. I'm touched that you should find me such good company.
It is not your company, but your counsel that I seek on this occasion.
Ever the charmer. What will it be today, then?
The Iron Kingdom. I need to know what to expect.
You'll soon be setting sail for Drake's Breath, then, I take it. The Mothercrystal that rises from the boiling sea. There was a time when a true-blooded Rosarian had to brave the waves to visit it. But then the Ironblood made their move. As you know, the Iron Kingdom rules over the islands to the west of Storm. Or rather, its church does. But this is not the pragmatic approach to state religion employed by the Holy Empire to manipulate the masses. No, the Iron Kingdom is the literal embodiment of the crystalline orthodoxy. And so, if one is to understand it, one must start there. As the name implies, the orthodoxy holds the Mothercrystal sacred, and they do not take kindly to heathens plundering the objects of their worship for the means to fill washtubs and light lamps with frivolous feats of magic. Indeed, the faithful consider ether a sinful thing, a poison no less. And to them, a dominant is an instrument of evil, albeit one they have proven only too happy to turn against their enemies. Some 80 years ago, in Northern Storm, Drake's eye collapsed. Soon after, in pursuit of ether, and with the Blight at their backs, the Northern Territories descended upon the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. And when the Shields of the Flame marched north to meet them, the Iron Kingdom spied an opportunity. A few short days later, the Crusaders landed on the island of Mount Justanus, home of Drake's Breath, and plucked it from the Duchy's grasp. Rosaria tried to reclaim it, of course, but to no avail. I doubt more than a handful of Duchy men have set foot on its shores in your lifetime. Nor are they like to again, under the Empire's stewardship, meaning the Ironblood will keep their island, and with it, the foothold they need to march on mainland soil when next they spy an opportunity. The Mothercrystal is both the object of the Ironblood's worship and their gateway to the continent, making Drostanus the holiest of holy grounds, from which the Orthodox Crusade shall one day sail forth to claim the remaining Mothercrystals, or die trying.
My father and my grandfather both traded blows with the Ironblood for control of Drake's Breath. Had things unfolded differently at Phoenix Gate, we would have sent our entire fleet against them.
But instead, they sent their fleet against Rosaria, sacked the capital, killed the men, and captured the women, including Jill. I'd say you'd be forgiven for wanting a little revenge, Clive.
My only aim is to destroy the Mothercrystal. But thank you all the same. Not much else to do here. Let's see if Jill's ready.
I mean, it sounds like we're gonna make a pretty nasty enemy of the Ironblood when we destroy Drake's Breath, since they hold it in such high value as a part of their religion. Also, really? The islands off the west coast are taken by a nation called Ironblood. There's also another intellectual property where there are islands off the west coast, and they're called the Ironborn in Westeros.
There are new billets
you couldn't have a new
every
name?
day, but not
Phoenix?
enough swords
Really?
to see to them.
Whatever. Guess we can move forward on this at least. There's Jill.
It will be over
over soon. One way or another.
What will be?
You ready?
I think so.
Jill. When you told me you had to come to terms with your past, you weren't talking about destroying Drake's breath, were you?
No. I spoke of Imran, the leader of the crystalline Orthodox. The man who made me do all those unspeakable things. I'm going to kill him. It's what I need to do to put the past behind me. What I need to move forward. And I know that I can do it. If you're there beside me.
Always.
And I'll be beside you, too. We'll bring down the Mothercrystal together. All while Sid looks on.
We'll make him proud.
So that was, of course, a conversation in the last episode where Jill said that she had to put her past behind her facing the Ironblood. At the time, I was in agreement with one of my watchers here that that was when Jill actually became interesting. Because, of course, her character has just been, in the back, in the shadows. Now she gets to take a step front and sort of be the focus of the story. But the truth is at the time, when that conversation was happening and we were, the uncle was preparing the ship to go to Drake's Breath, my first thought was, well, this is kind of random. Where did this come from? Well, now I know. It's because Drake's Breath is owned by the Ironblood. But I didn't know that before that part of the story. And I probably could have found... Actually, I didn't see anything about the Ironblood in those entries that we just read. So, yeah, and I wouldn't have known about that connection before this point. And it seems just strange the way the story is unfolding. We get this, crucial character scene from Jill. And yet at the time, we're just kind of like, okay, yeah, you need revenge or what have you to get past being a slave. That's understandable. Why is this only coming up now? Under normal circumstances, a narrative would have context before that kind of scene so that you could immediately nod along and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. We know we're probably going to have to face the Ironblood going into here. But at the time, I thought, why is this only coming up now? I guess I know. Well, that's the quest to find out what the creature for the cooking might be. I'm not interested right now. Let's go ahead and move the story.
Useful trick. Freezing and thawing the spray to make mist. How did you learn to use your powers like this?
The Masters made me do it. When the Crusaders took to the seas, to keep the fleet's movements from prying eyes. I'm fine.
No, you're not.
This may be the only chance I get to go back. My only chance to put things right. I have to do this. Whatever the cost.
All right.
There she is. The Iron Kingdom's Mothercrystal.
Drake's breath. Strong currents, sharp rocks, and ether floods. Let's not forget them. This island is a natural fortress.
But safety breeds complacency, allowing a single rowing boat to slip in unseen.
The sanctuary is inside the mountain. If we follow the old trail, we should be able to enter by the back gate.
All right. Let's go.
Fire and ice. The Game of Thrones parallels.
Here would be to reclaim it.
It used to belong to Rosaria, didn't it?
Once, though it's been in the Ironblood's clutches for far too long.
As was I. For 13 years, this rock was my home. I know its secrets only too well. This path was abandoned after an ether flood. They don't guard it anymore.
The perfect little shortcut.
I was gonna say, the Game of Thrones references continue. Or parallels continue, is what I originally was saying. I mean, that's a pretty cool image. And that's probably gonna be the image for this particular episode. Oops. Sorry, I was not looking where I was going. So there is definitely ether floods.
They're all Akashic.
The ether flood must have spread. It was never as bad as this. And the only way past them is through them. Okay. Oh crap, I forgot to get high potions. Whoops. They happen all the time. That wasn't even a bad one. It's nothing to worry about.
Somehow I doubt that. can't see anything. Oh, that's why.
The old arboretum is just up there. We'll enter the caves from there.
I can't heal with Torgal outside of battle. I think I remember that. I think I just got rid of my aerial blast.
Look at this place. What a mess.
Wait.
It's turned.
Nothing a shelter for his area can't handle. Just like old times.
Worst breath.
Believe me, I mean to.
Oh god.
That's foul.
Don't breathe it in.
Oh. Okay, just run. Just run. Don't dodge. Go.
It's over.
There. Akashic Marble slain. Magic dash, meteorite. I realize I'm not really using my it's not my Ifrit form, it's my semi Ifrit form where I turn, you know, really powerful and fiery. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. Is this place particularly warm?
It's like a furnace in here.
Okay.
We're inside the volcano. You get used to the heat, though I don't remember it being quite this hot.
Ah, high potion.
Was that one cause for concern?
It was. And they're getting bigger. Something's wrong.
Sorry I'm not talking much. Come down here. I feel like a scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Get over here. was a much messier fight than I wanted it to be. Ugh. Hello, Zomber. Welcome to the stream. You'll definitely want to watch this one. I had some thoughts much earlier on, and I'd definitely be curious to know when next you come by what you think about them.
Is there no other way across?
But yeah, as you can see, we're heading into Drake's Breath to destroy this particular Mothercrystal. Gonna use her ice magic.
This is going to be close. Come on!
Let's not do that again.
No. Let's not.
So how do you guys plan on getting out? Will destroying the Mothercrystal take care of the volcano? Is that the hope here? How do you know this isn't gonna be, well, they wouldn't know anything about the rings, but this could be a Mount Doom situation.
They don't look too tough.
Perhaps not alone, but in numbers like these.
Oh, a bomb. Destroy the bomb before it goes off. Oh, stop focusing on that. Whew. Okay, so that is where we're supposed to go. Is there anything over here? I mean, there is an area over here.
Well, we aren't going this way.
Let's look for another path. Drake's Breath.
We're nearly at the oratory.
Yay, a high potion. I'm gonna keep it on Torgal for now so I don't accidentally use my high potion.
What the hell is that?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, whatever it is, I don't think it's friendly.
Well,
nice try.
there we go.
Too slow.
There we go. Whew. Tougher fight than I thought it would be. Oh, look. Another arena.
One of the demons. But they never leave the lava.
If I didn't know better, I think this volcano was about to erupt.
Are you so sure it's not, Clive?
They're peaceful creatures.
But this one must be the exception. Good, I'll wager.
Whoa. I was dodging. One I feel like is worthy.
Farewell.
There we go. Whew. That was a much tougher fight. Gnarled scales, sure.
You hurt?
Just hot. Thank you.
Quite a commotion our friend made. Let's hope the guards didn't hear it.
The gate to the inner chambers is just up there. Then we make for the sanctuary. I need to finish this. Before the heat finishes me.
Hear, hear.
We'll enter the Comric by the Handmaiden's living quarters. It was always a hive of activity.
Sounds like we'll have a hard time staying out of sight.
We won't have to. There's someone there I should very much like to see.
The maids are almost certainly slaves, then. Okay. that creature will probably be back. I mean, it's a lava creature, so it falling into the lava isn't really that harmful to it, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But, you know, all this talk about Jill kind of getting her revenge and insisting on she kill this Emring guy. What are the odds that we're going to find this this head priest at the Mothercrystal?
Lady Marley.
It's me.
By the mother. Jill, it can't be. It is, my lady. We cannot talk here. Come with me.
A man in the maid's chambers.
I'm so glad you're safe.
And I you.
Why ever would you risk coming back? Are you a fool, girl? Or have you grown tired of your freedom already?
Forgive me, my lady. But I had to come back. There are things I left undone. Tell me, where is the Patriarch?
At this hour, he'll be in the Comric, giving thanks.
You mean... Oh, that fiend! Clive, we have to get to the sanctuary. Now. Lady Marley, you must flee this place, gather your things, and go.
Now listen here, Jill.
We have company.
This way. Follow this passage. It leads straight to the Comric. Go on, stop dawdling.
Thank you. You were always so kind to me. My light in the darkness. Take care, my lady, please. You deserve better than this. A long and happy life, promise me.
Stop dawdling. Go!
I'll live if you promise to do the same. Come on, Clive. We're nearly at the comwreck.
All right.
The organ has kicked in. Things are getting serious now. All right.
Here's our welcoming party.
I've had enough of their hospitality.
New enemies approaching. Ah, missed everything. Okay, did I miss anything? Okay, there were stairs over here, but they didn't lead anywhere. Okay. Well, I'm at least picking up enough potions.
How many of them are there?
Too many.
A lot of help. 20,000. That went much more smoothly than I ever thought it would. Not the right way, apparently. Over here? No. Thanks, yeah, I feel like I'm really getting the touch of it. Although I do have an unfortunate tendency to use all of my rather big moves all at the same time, and I could probably stand to, you know, keep them in reserve for when things are staggered. Okay, where do we go? Where do we go? Is it not making this available for me because I'm... Oh, here we go. Missed it. Oh my gosh. Here's a door. Is there anything? Yes, there is. Explore. Always. Ooh, 1200 gil. Always explore. Duh. Right here.
Clive, there's something I need you to know. I saw the Patriarch do things no one should have to see. And so I swore that he would die by my hand.
I understand. I faced my demons, and you must face yours.
Yay, another high potion. I didn't have to buy any after all. Insufficient space. All fully healed. Oh dear. The inner sanctum.
Just one last push.
There we go. I don't care if new enemies are approaching. I need to kill this guy first. Damn it. Yes, there he goes. Weapon like that kind of reminds me of the weapons in Monster Hunter World. Will of the Wikes. I just got rid of that move. I mean, as in, I switched to a different move. Sacrifice. Are they already dead? I would assume they're not.
Shiva's dominant. Come to beg forgiveness for your failure.
For years, I followed your orders. Fought your wars. All to protect the children you took. Just as you took me. And what did you do in return? You put them in chains and you slit their throats!
Fiend.
Their souls were sullied with a stain of ether. I merely cleansed them of their corruption. A penance paid, just as the Holy Mother wills it! Repent, abomination! For a monster like you to set foot in the Holy Cymric is in itself a crime deserving of death!
You're right. I am a monster. And my soul is stained black. Though not by ether. But by the evil of men like you, who made me close my heart and drown in darkness when I should have raged against it. This is my penance. I will be your monster no more. Nor will I suffer you to create another.
Does the beast bare its teeth at its master? Come then, dominant. Rage, be as you have ever been. A monster!
And what are you, Imran? I was forced to kill. You do it by choice. But never again. I bowed to you once. Now it is you who shall bow to me!
Kill them.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to see Jill using her Shiva powers. There's Joshua. How does he know where we're... And he's gone, just like that. Oh, that's brutal. What? Is that Emery?
Why can't I do it?
Is there potentially not enough ether? I mean, we've already got one dominant on the field.
Please, just one.
She won't be able to hold that lava back forever. Better make this quick.
Oh, come on. Do I have to finish this before the lava takes me? Ah, Shiva's overdrive.
Go.
All right. I won't take long. Nice try.
Whoa! '11th hour? That doesn't sound good. Oh my god. Come on. Come on. I was dodging. Whew. Liquid flame extinguished. Where's Imran? Emerine.
Jill!
I'm going to finish this, Clive.
What happened to the people on the altar?
Here! Use this.
Sid. We're one step closer to freedom.
The crystal. What did you do to it?
Oh. We destroyed it.
What? But... Monster! Monster! Do you have any idea what you have done?
I do, Father. I have killed the monster and become an outlaw. May the blessing of the crystals go with you.
She's bleeding out the mouth too. So when a dominant
It's over.
overdoes it, they just start coughing up blood.
And Shiva exacted her price.
She did.
Again, the burden fell to you.
And I bore it willingly. This was a sin for which I had to atone. Now I can continue at your side with my head held high. Clive, look.
It's just like the one at Phoenix Gate. Damn it. We need to leave.
Agreed.
And there's Joshua. Joshua's just an agent of chaos.
I kept my promise, and now you keep yours.
Legacy, turn the corner. Meanwhile...
This way, Your Grace.
So that wasn't Joshua.
You're bleeding. I have a tonic which will...
I thank you for your kindness, truly. But I assure you, I will survive. Please, save your medicines for those who need them most.
Oh, well, if you're sure.
For a moment there, I felt my brother's presence.
You did?
I fear he is in Ultima's thoughts again. But why now, after 5 years of silence? I cannot keep him sealed away much longer.
Your Grace.
No, do not dirty your hands. Look at them all. Like a river flowing to the sea.
Or moths to a flame, perhaps. The crystalline dominion their light in the darkness. More and more lose their homes to the blight and set out in search of sanctuary, while others lose their fortunes to the Dhalmekian levies and leave to find new livelihoods. What is it that you seek in the Dominion, Your Grace?
Oh, Dion Lesage.
You mean the Crown Prince of Sanbreque?
He has many titles. Dion the Bold, Prince of Dragoons, Odin's Nemesis, or simply Bahamut. I met him once, when we were children. He was a chivalrous soul even then, and has served his empire indefatigably ever since.
And you are confident that he will listen to what you have to say?
Our world lurches ever closer to the abyss, and a hidden hand ushers us onward. Ultima's influence extends to every nation, Sanbreque included. If His Highness is the man I believe him to be, and I pray that he is, this truth will not have escaped his notice. As the Mothercrystals fall, the eternal flame wavers, and the azure sky begins to bruise. How lucky we were to be blessed by the crystals, and yet how spoiled. Like canaries in a gilded cage, growing fat on seed. But now, the bars are closing in, and we must take flight. Painful though it be to leave our home behind, it is what we must do to be free. Which is it that men cannot live without? A blessing that leads to damnation, or a freedom that leads to deprivation? I do not yet know the answer to that question. Do you, Clive?
Your Grace, let us find a place to rest a while. We can return by the Dhalmekian trail once you have recovered your strength. I realize your duty is pressing, but if your health should fail...
I know. Thank you, Yote.
Finally learned her name. That mark on his chest is now covered. That looks like the Mothercrystal by Oriflamme. Drake's head, right? Back here again. Rondella, the Dalmekian Republic. And home to Henry Kupka.
Army's attempt to breach the Empire's defenses and gain the Isles of Ark has failed yet again.
Only because your fleet has proved as impotent as a eunuch on laying night. Would you rather we simply fell back to the capital?
Enough, both of you. All here agree that the Empire cannot be allowed to maintain its illegitimate claim on the Dominion. However, our casualties mount with each passing day.
There's the Titan.
There is a literal sea twixt you and your prize. The armies of Sambrek need but sit back and watch as you harmlessly lap against their walls. They are dug in like ticks and seek to draw out this siege, knowing the capital's stores are nigh bottomless. And what of our wise rulers? Goaded into war without any thought as to what chaos it might reap. Republican soldiers starve while waiting for orders from Randalar.
If you would but take the field, their bellies would be full by nightfall.
If I take the field, so too will Bahamut, and our duel will shake the island to its foundations. Instead of liberating the Dominion, you would doom it to destruction. Unless that is what you desire.
If our learned advisor has a solution to propose, we should be glad to consider it.
No.
Is
There's the Empress.
The Empress?
That's a peculiar hairstyle that boy has.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Kupka? What it means is that I am disinclined to advise you any longer. Ah, the looks on their faces when you walked through those doors. A perfect picture of stupefaction. They could not believe their eyes. Though I confess, I had my own doubts whether or not you would accept my invitation. Such shocking news. Sid isn't a son of a whore. He's the son of an empress. Your own dear Clive.
Absurd. Who fed you these lies? I have never spent a moment among criminals, save at the gallows. I came here with my son, not to entertain your baseless accusations, but to put an end to the senseless hostilities between our nations.
Very well. You need only agree to the terms I set out. Sid took the life of someone dear to me, a woman by the name of Benedicta. I swore to take his in turn. This would not be disagreeable to you, I take it. You would finally be rid of the stain on your noble name. In return, I will leave Sanbreque in your capable hands. Your Imperial Majesty.
And all for the love of a common whore. Dominant or no, one cannot hide one's breeding. And beasts will ever belong with beasts. There are greater things in store for you, my darling Olivier. Soon enough, you shall be the crown prince of Sambrec. And when your father goes to meet Great Griga, you shall be emperor of all you survey. The old order shall come tumbling down, and you will rebuild the world in your glorious image. Soon.
What was that?
She's been in there for hours. Something must be wrong.
After the storm. There is another thing that kind of irritates me about Final Fantasy XVI, is that it insists on these long interludes. I wouldn't mind if they spaced them out a little bit better. Anyway, that particular scene with Henry Kupka and the Empress was interesting, only in part because the Titan has misattributed Benedicta's death to the wrong person, but because Clive has taken Cid's name, it's now the right person. A little bit bizarre, that one. And now we get... can't even remember her name. The Empress. She married the Emperor and produced a son, despite the fact that the Emperor already had a son, the dominant Bahamut. And now she's clearly plotting Bahamut's fall. I mean, this is not an unsurprising, I guess, development to some extent. Like, the Veen of heirs is always a very popular plot point. Hard to know. I unfortunately don't know history all that well, so I can't really say if there was that much backstabbing within the royal family, you know, across the ages. But she seems to think that her son can become emperor. I kind of figured that he was going to rule over the land of Rosaria, since Sambrec kind of owns that now. There's lots I want to say, but I really can't say much. It's just getting juicy, real, or some such. The Empress's son can't possibly... Olivier can't possibly be a dominant, too. 3 dominants within her bloodline? I find it interesting that, you know, she talked about Benedicta as a common whore, but she didn't even like her own son Clive, and he was perfectly well-bred. So, I mean, she's just a judgmental, horrible person. We already knew that, though. She's the one who created the Black Shields and is doing those cullings and purges. Undoubtedly, she's gonna get her comeuppance at some point. I'm honestly surprised that Clive hasn't really made it a priority. Especially given the evils that she's been committing of late. But, I I guess he assumes that we'll get there at some point. Anyway, I've gone past my streaming time. I knew I would as soon as I started on the Drake's Breath. Because, of course, I figured there was going to be a big fight and a big cutscene to follow. And, yep, I was right. So, I did at least want to give my immediate thoughts after the cutscene. Just so they're fresh in my mind. And I'll continue mulling my thoughts, because I do tend to let them simmer and usually come up with new avenues of inspection. This game really likes to hold its cards very, very close to its chest. And there's merit to that. But there's also a kind of flaw to that. Because if you hold too much information and keep teasing your audience for too long, they're going to stop enjoying the story. And they're going to become irritated more than enthralled. And I'm on the cusp of irritated for sure. Because it took so long to actually figure out what exactly a bearer was. It turns out my thoughts, based on what we learned through the story, were accurate. But I just feel like I could have learned that a little bit sooner. The importance and the speciality of a bearer. Especially given that there are crystals that can also be used for magic. So, is a bearer? A bearer is just a glorified crystal, I guess. And are dominants immune to the whole being turned to stone part of a bearer's curse? Like, they already are unaffected by ether floods, so maybe they're also unaffected by the turning to stone thing. That, of course, is not well known to me. And I don't think it's really the mark of a good storytelling when I have to, like, sift through the archives to learn some of the things that the game should have imparted. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this episode of Final Fantasy XVI, and thank you, Zomber, for stopping by when you could. I always do appreciate your presence, and I do like hearing your thoughts about the narrative as well. Even if you can't fully say anything because of spoilers, which I greatly appreciate. I don't like being spoiled. We will continue. Let's see. Can I stream this weekend? I think I can on Sunday. So I'm gonna see about streaming on Sunday. I don't know what the best time is for streaming. I assume maybe earlier in the day. Earlier in the day, meaning more like my morning, your afternoon. Probably. Then people are usually running around in the middle of the day. Anyway, good night. And if I don't stream this weekend, I will be streaming again on Tuesday, of course. So thank you. Alright, good to know, Zomber. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you around. This is K11, signing out.